welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new, subscribe to our channel, drop this video a like. Let's have a like target of, let's go pretty biggish, 700, and just drop your thoughts in the comment section down below on everything that we discussed today. Don't adjust your set. I am wearing a vest. I have had a tattoo and it's really hurting me to wear a t-shirt today. It's very, very sore, so that's why I've got a vest on. But to be fair, it feels in with the American vibe of us going to America. And top right, don't adjust your set. He's back off his holidays. He's feels like we've got like a Coutinho. Coutinho sort of like rocked back up at Up the Villa Podcast HQ. So how are you, Ryan?
Very well, very well. Good to be back.
Yeah, you had a nice break.
I have, mate. I have. Missed it though, so chomping at the bit to start contributing again. So good to be back on screen with you two fellas.
Brilliant stuff. So let's talk a little bit first about Moussa Diaby. We've got a lot to talk about on this episode, so let's go straight in there with Moussa Diaby and where are we and where are we at. So it's coming out today, vibes of a Saudi acceptance maybe. It's just hearsay, it's just rumours, but that's where we're at. But, you know, I've got to just say one thing about this whole sort of transfer saga, and it's that you can't fault Villa's ambition here because we're about to bid, and we have bid, the highest transfer fee we have ever bid on any player. You know, if Diaby used to come in, he would be our record signing. So that just shows the market and shows where Aston Villa's headspace is at. And it's the fact that we're going big. We're trying to break our record. We're trying to attract brilliant, brilliant players to Aston Villa. And what any selling club wants is a bidding war. They want two clubs in for a player because they want this bidding war. Villa bid. What are you going to bid? Are you going to match what they bid? Are you going to bid more? So the fact that Leverkusen have got two potential suitors for Moussa Diaby is music to their ears, really. But I am seeing a little bit of criticism on Villa's side of we should just go out and pay what they want, etc., etc. And I'm kind of like, well, we kind of are. We're negotiating with them. We've had one offer rejected, so we've gone in for our second bid. We've communicated with that club, I imagine, of what sort of fee they are potentially looking at. But, you know, I don't think anyone can fault Villa here for what's going on. What are you saying, Ryan?
Yeah, definitely not. I think now how this transfer has evolved, we do want him. We are in for him, and he's big for Emery. His profile, pace, electric pace we're talking about, so something that's going to be key for Emery's system. There's similar players that we're linked with, but Diaby is the one that we're putting big money down. It's a big statement from Villa. You know, we did think at the end of the season that we was going to break our transfer record in this department of our team, and it's looking like Diaby is the man. Offers on the table, and for me, out of the Saudi and Villa, I think for Diaby at his age, with his ambition to play in the French national team, that we are the more attractive option. Look, we're probably not going to compete salary-wise with the Saudis, but there's going to be a good package. There's going to be a good package on the table from Villa. And European football, you're in the limelight. You talked about, you know, we're in arguably the best league in the world. You know, we're taking this league on tour to the summer series. So this is a big league, a big brand, and you can be at the centre of it. So for me, I think negotiating wise, if his head's not turned by the money, then I think he would choose Aston Villa. So hopefully we can get this one over the line. And if he does decide to go for the Saudi route, then tells you everything you need to know about the player, then we'll probably dodge the bullet. But hopefully it's Villa is the destination for him.
Yeah, it's like what you say there. It's two ways. If he chooses Saudi, we've dodged a bullet. If he joins Villa, then it shows you what he's all about. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's such a flip side. And when you are talking about Saudi, it's like, what's their pot of money? There isn't a pot of money. The pot overflows, and it's like the money's everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like they've just got that much money to get players and offer wages, etc. But I
yeah. I think Villa will have a limit. We'll have a figure in mind, and once we get to that bidding process, this might be our last bid. This might be take it or leave it from the Villa. So I think we will have that. And like you look at Manchester City's policy, and they do spend a lot of money, but they do have their limits. It's like they're pulled out of certain, like Rice, they're pulled out of a Kane deal. Once it gets to their valuation, then that's it. That's it. It's off the table then, and we're not going to exceed that. And I think Villa will have a similar policy. We won't be drawn into this bidding war. We'll have our limits, and that'll be it. Take it or leave it. And then it's down to the player then, isn't it? Saudi could bid more, and then Diaby could go, well, I don't want to go Saudi. So all bids will be off the table then. So it's be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and it's just the thing is with Villa as well, and the Monchi thing as well is it's that we have targets now. So the list, there's a list. I've said it before. Read his article about Monchi. That the way he scouts players, the due diligence that they do, they get their short list of players. If that top one don't come, we'll move to that next one. So I imagine that Villa have a plan if this one doesn't work out. But we've just got to see how it goes and see whether this bid gets accepted. Do you want to add anything on it, Justin?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting one. He's obviously been clearly identified as one of the main summer targets for us. We wouldn't have gone in with repeated bids if he wasn't really serious about getting him. The Saudi money has definitely thrown a spanner in the works, but I think the reported last bid's around 43 million. And I think they won about 51. So we're not, we're talking ridiculous amounts of money. I know that. I'm saying this like it's 10p, but we're about £7-8 million short, aren't we? I can't imagine they'll lose him, especially if they've had an indication from the player that he fancies it over, what is a few £1 million when you're talking up to that amount. And then ultimately it's down to the player, isn't it? It's been reported on 1 minute he's set on Saudi, next minute he wants the Villa move, and you've got the two balancing acts for him is wages over the prestige of the league that he's coming to in England. So he's got a decision about at 24. You'd like to think that he's got a lot to prove, still in one of Europe's top leagues, if not the top league in Europe, playing under a manager that's pretty well regarded in the world, let alone in Europe. So I think they'll probably make the money work. I think they are edging towards it and using the Saudi money to probably prize a few more million out of Villa. My gut instinct is that he wants to come to us, and I think once we've got over the fee agreement, I think we're going to get this one over the line. But as with all these things, you never know till it's done and dusted. So, very exciting player, very exciting prospect if we can get him in. So, we'll just keep an eye on that one. I think I think it's going to be resolved in the next couple of 3 days, if I'm honest, because they're going to want him. They're going to want him over in America, aren't they, to settle in? So,
it's good that you mentioned Emery there, Justin, because Emery and Diaby would have been together at Paris Saint-Germain, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
There might be a relationship there as well. So what happens when Emery gets on the phone? It becomes impossible not to join, isn't it? So hopefully he's in his ear. He's WhatsApping them all the time. So let's get this one over the line and get him on that plane to America.
Somebody who is staying, your mate Justin. Tell us the story about your mate Justin.
Well, to be honest, the first time I ever met him was obviously I run a shop in Sutton, Ted's, and this really tall lad who came in, and we obviously us three have been to quite a few under 21s last season. I think something we'll try and do again this season. So it's a great place to go and watch football, especially with the talent we've got now coming through. And this lad and a couple of them came in. I thought, I recognise this kid, and it turned out it was Feeney and a couple of the other young kids. And he's a really nice lad, to be fair. And he was there when I did the last sleep out as well at Villa Park. That they rolled him out there with John McGinn. And I tell you what, he talks really well for a young kid. And I know we'll probably come on to Walsall in a bit, but he started against Walsall. And I've got massive hopes for Josh Feeney. I really have.
Too.
I think he's a real prospect. I think he's got to fill out a little bit physically. He's got the height. I think if he adds a little bit of strength to his game, he's definitely got all the attributes on
Justin, you better up them fillings on them potatoes then, mate. Give him extra portions of beans.
Extra beans and extra
So, the main question is, what does he fuel up on a match day then?
Cheese and beans. It's a cheese and beans. Solid cheese and beans.
Feeney loves a Ted's cheese and beans on a match day.
I said this on Twitter earlier, and I was trying to think of a defender that's come through and had made an impact at Villa, and unfortunately, this player I sort of likened him to didn't. He got sold before we realised his potential, but we all know what Gary Cahill went on to do in the game, and he's just got the look of Gary Cahill. I think similar stature, size, and ability, and I think if we can really feed him through maybe a really successful loan next season, because he's going to struggle to get in our team, especially with the acquisitions. The one Pau Torres this year and Carlos being fit. I think if we can go and give him a really good, solid, top-end championship team loan, I think we're going to see him come on leaps and bounds, and it's very prudent from Villa to get him tied down now, with a view to trying to integrate him into the team within the next sort of 18 months, 2 years, I think.
Yeah, he is one of the bright sparks that whenever we go and watch under 23s, he's the one that always catches my eye. Along with, I know a lot of you know that. Well, we all like Kellyman as well, don't we? Kellyman always catches our eye as well.
Tommy O'Reilly.
Yeah,
there's a few.
Yeah, there are a few, but they're the ones for me. So, Justin, you were at Walsall. Quickly run through the vibe. Who looked sharp to start with, and what was the vibe? Good to be back. Watching Villa.
Yeah, it was always nice to go and watch the lads play, isn't it? And it was a very odd game, to be honest, because I think the team were late getting there, and they were still on the pitch warming up. The first 11 were doing crossing drills when Walsall came out to line up for the game. So it was very, very odd. Quite a weakened side that different to what we've seen over the last couple of 3 years. And if anything, it does have a massive feel of just a sort of like behind closed doors, friendly type training exercise, to be honest. We didn't learn. For me, I didn't learn anything that I didn't know already. It was nice to see a load of the kids thrown in. It was literally just getting minutes into the legs and getting them out on the pitch, and it was nice for us to see the team in the new kit and one or two of the young kids. It was nice to see Carlos out on the pitch. We didn't really learn anything, and I was almost thinking, why have I come, to be honest, because it was there wasn't a lot happening in the game. But it's always nice to see Villa, and I think they had one eye obviously on the players coming back this week and this trip to America. So yeah, it was one of them, wasn't it? Proper pre-season, first game out on the pitch.
Yeah, that moves us on, jet setting to America for the Summer Series Premier League pre-season. It's not a tournament, but it's kind of like a tournament. I think is there 6 Premier League teams that are going to be playing in it. So there's Villa, Newcastle, Fulham and Brentford. That's in our little mix of it. Aston Villa are going to be playing at the Lincoln Financial Field Stadium, which is, I like the look of that, to be fair. It's massive, man. I like the look of that one. We're going to be playing
Transformers Stadium.
Yeah, is that where they play the NFL then?
Must be, yeah.
Yeah, that one's huge. We're going to be playing at the Exploria Stadium, a little bit smaller. It's got sort of Leicester vibes, doesn't it? That looks a bit like Leicester Stadium. And then we're going to be playing at I think it's the FedEx Field, which is this one. So, it's going to be good. I think I like it that we are testing ourselves against Premier League opposition. We're going to be, improving, and the workload gets higher and higher. The sharpness will get better and better. So really looking forward to it. Like I say, Premier League opposition. Interestingly, Archer is straight back at Villa now as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's going to do. And I think it's going to be interesting to see the sides, the combination of the sides. They never play the strongest 11 in like every single game, do they? So it'd be interesting to see what centre-back partnerships there are, what happens with right back, midfield, who plays up top for some of them, out wide. So this for me is like the start of pre-season. This is like the main bulk of it now. So the next 5 games after this, we've got Lazio and Valencia. We should start to see a picture of how we are shaping up. So Ryan, what are you feeling going into this summer series?
Yes, looking forward to it, mate. Looking forward to seeing us in America. I think last season, Australia was hugely successful for the Aston Villa brand. What was going on the training pitch was another thing, but on the face of it, the club come out of it really well. There was a lot of expats over there, a lot of Villa fans over there, and it was great for them to experience games and meet the players. We've seen loads of wholesome content of the manager and the players going to different schools and stuff like that. And I'm expecting the same thing in America. We met Paul Bruton, who watches the podcast, doesn't he, Luke? And he gifted us some Orlando scarves. So Villa are playing in Orlando, so it'd be great to see for them American fans to see Villa. My mate Pat as well, he's going on his family holiday to Orlando and he's dipping off for a day to go to the Fulham game, so he'll be at that one. So
great work. Great work.
It is. It's top quality work. Top quality work. To be fair play to him. But we're representing Villa, and it's about getting our brand over there, isn't it? It's about making an impression on people and growing our club really, and also the Premier League as well. We're representing the Premier League. We need the Premier League to be the biggest global league in the world to attract players. We're talking about Diaby there. You've got the carrot of being in the Premier League. So again, we're growing and representing that. On the playing side, it is all about fitness and getting the players up to speed. There'll be a lot of training work, you can imagine, a lot of drills, but we're going to be looking for snippets, aren't we? We're going to be looking for little snippets here and there, player performances.
Foundations, Ryan.
Exactly, yeah. We want to see them putting in. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see the defensive setup, how we, like you just said, Luke, partnerships, how we set up, how the movement is. Midfield as well. I'd like to see where Tillemans will sort of come in. Is he going to come in that double pivot? Is he going to be the wide coming into the box? Is he going to be further up supporting Ollie? Be interesting to see how our front men set up. And like you say, Archer, he's been the talk of pre-season at the minute, hasn't he? He's won a tournament with England, so he's going to be absolutely flying, and he's going to be buzzing. So he's come back early. Forget the holiday. I want to get straight back in, straight on this tour. He wants to make his mark, and this is the pre-season that he really does have to. Have I got any doubts in me that he can finish and become lethal in the Premier League? No doubts whatsoever. I think he's one of the most talented finishers I've seen. Has he got enough about his game in the build-up play, which is big for Emery? I'm not too sure, and this is what he's got to work on this summer. He's got to prove to Emery that he can fit into a system. He can offer more than just a lethal finish. He needs to be part of the whole system, the whole play. So it's huge for him. It's a real big summer, and I hope he does. I hope he does do well, and I hope he does get his chance because he deserves it. He burst onto the scene, didn't he, in the Papa John's Trophy. Out of nowhere, really. Never really followed him through the youth. He's loan for Solihull Moors sort of went under the radar for me. The first I seen him was that Papa John's. I thought, Jesus Christ, who's this kid, man? Where's he come from? And how's he finishing that naturally? So, huge for him.
Yeah, I think so too. And you just know Emery can unleash certain things. You know, he makes players better, and I think he'll be a big player for Villa. You know, I've got a good vibe about it all, and I've got a good vibe about Philogene as well. I keep calling him Bidace, but he's not Bidace anymore. You see, it's Philogene. So I thought he looked good at Walsall. I don't know. I just got a feeling for him as well. I think Emery will like him. And this is just
He's actually had two real good tough spells. You know, he's played for Stoke and he's played for Cardiff in the Championship. You know, he's been roughed up now for 2 seasons.
Well, yeah,
so
but
if you do it at Stoke on a Wednesday night, then you're all right, aren't you?
Exactly.
And the thing about his loan deals as well is he goes completely under the radar. Completely under the, you know, everybody's talking about Archer, Irabuna. No one talks about Philogene, and I think it's going to surprise a few, because I remember that game against, was it Spurs? And him and Chukwuemeka, and it was like they were like, both of them were amazing, weren't they? So I wouldn't write him off. You know, I think he could potentially be one that sort of sticks around a little bit.
I put a tweet out before the Walsall game saying, like, Philogene is sort of a make or break pre-season for him as well, really. He's 22 years old now. He's had 2 good solid seasons in the Championship, and now is the time to display it. And at the minute, there's an opportunity in that front line, isn't there? You know, we're not fully stacked up top. He's got that bit of pace. He's got that bit of trickery. And the comments I got on the tweet was a bit 50-50. A lot of people unsure, saying he weren't consistent enough, but you got to give him a summer. You got to give him a summer under Emery, and let's see where he comes out.
I did watch him quite a lot of Walsall. He's a rough diamond. That's how I see him at the moment. He's got a lot of ability. You can see why the manager likes him. You can see why he's got to where he's got to now. And he takes people on. He goes past people. He doesn't make the best decisions when he's in play. He gets himself in positions, which is something he'll obviously improve on. And being in and around the first team and away with them, as obviously with this little tour, it's going to help, isn't it? But it's a huge tour, really. I think that for these kids that are coming through, this is a massive, massive tour. You know, for the senior pros and the ones that we know have been there, done it, the Mingses, the Consers, the Kamaras, the Watkins, and Martinez, it's just fitness for them. It's get away with the team, get back on it, let's get on with it. But for a lot of players, the younger ones that, you know, I've written down here, the Aaron Ramseys, the Josh Feeneys, the Cameron Archers, the Bidace, Philogene Bidace, Irabunum, and I would put John Duran in with that as well, because he's a very young player. I know we paid for him as different from coming through the ranks, but he's also within that group of young players that have got to try and make an impact, and it's their chance to really, you know, catch the manager's eye, isn't it, on this little tour.
Yeah.
We've seen Archer, Philogene and Irabunum, and now on the app have all been sort of promoted into the first team squad section. So does that give us, you know, an inkling that they're going to be in and around next season? Obviously implications of Europe and these squads, we have to fill in certain quotas, that, you know, they're going to be able to do that. So it's a huge one. And then for me, you know, getting Pau Torres some minutes, getting Yuri Tillemans minutes, hopefully Diaby, if we can sign him, some minutes. And the other one, which I've put a big circle around here, is Felipe Coutinho. I just keep coming back to him in my head now. We may very well see him disappear off at some point, but I think it's a big one for him as well. If he can come back in good fitness and really show the manager that, you know, that he can make a difference. You know, these are the kind of things that make or break seasons, aren't they, for these players? So looking forward to seeing what he does. Looking forward to see if he messes with formations and tactics. We all know he likes a little tinker here and there, so it's going to be very interesting viewing, and they are perfect kickoff times for me because I'm a night owl, so midnight kickoffs.
Yeah,
perfect.
Hey, you could do these watch alongs with me then.
I'm up till 2 o'clock every morning anyway, mate. So
you're on these watch alongs then, kid.
I'll tell you something about Coutinho, which got me fuming, to be fair. Villa posted a picture of him, you know, the training shots walking back into the ground, and his shoelaces were undone. I thought, come on, you're that injury prone and you're walking around without your laces done up. Do them laces up, son. Get back on the grass and let's see what you're all about, man.
He's that good. He can do his laces up without touching them, mate. So he's fine.
That's magic, isn't it? Magic feet, mate.
Yeah. I mean, I did that episode on Coutinho the other day, and I think everyone was sort of saying the same thing. There was a couple saying get rid, but I think he's still got a big part to play.
I think the football romantic in me wants him to succeed for a season, two seasons, and take us like that next level. But is the reality? Is it going to be too much for him now? You start to get these muscular injuries.
He's only 31 though, Ryan.
I know, but when these muscular injuries that keep occurring and occurring, you think you're never going to recover. But the romantic in me wants it to happen.
We're not going to have to rely on him for 45 games next season. True. We've seen that with the rotation of Luca Dean and Moreno. And for me, the one biggest question mark, first off, especially against Walsall, was I was a bit worried about Buendia. He did seem a bit off it. I know he can look lightweight and things like that. So to have a player like Coutinho, a ready-made, not replacement, but, there's two there that can sort of split that role between them, can't they? And whoever's in form plays and whoever doesn't. And then you could switch 60 minutes, give someone half an hour.
100%.
I just think it potentially is made for him to come on and be like a massive impact player for us off the bench.
Yeah.
It is
especially in Europe as well.
Yeah, massive
with his experience.
Yeah,
it's like you said. I think did we both do that episode? I mean, you said at great point. You was like, he's still a good, and we haven't seen that Coutinho banger yet, have we? He can't leave Villa without scoring that banger in the top corner. Trademark Coutinho, the little shimmy and like
whipping in that top corner. I think I'm with Ryan. I'm a romantic as well, and when we signed him, to sign a player. I know you're signing the name at the end of the day, and a player that's reached the heights he did. And he has in his career. So to have him even at the club still is amazing. And I think some fans are a little bit quick, really, to sort of write him off and say, get rid of him. And I get the argument about his injuries and I get the argument about his age. But, for me, he looks pretty fit. It's up there. And players like him, the first yard's in your head. And you see that on the pitch. He's never lost that. He's never lost the ability to take the ball in tight areas and find his way out. Ultimately, we've got a fantastic. Ultimately, we've got a fantastic manager. Can you hear me?
Well, you ain't got fantastic Wi-Fi.
No, you got robotic.
What happened then? Ultimately, we've got a manager we need to trust, haven't we? And if I said this the other day, if the manager keeps him around, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, I agree.
If you do that watch along with me next week, sort your Wi-Fi out. But how we'll end the episode then. How are we feeling about the window so far? Because it's so funny. Like, I go on Twitter, right, and like you log on Twitter, and there's like, I feel like everybody should be put into like different categories. Like, if you're relaxed about the window, you can just literally just like relax. And if we get linked and then the bid's rejected or blah, 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 we're on to the next one, you just quite chill. Then you get the next ones that are like, why don't we just like pay the money that they want and like, let's just bid and then that's the end of it. Okay. So like in 2 years' time, when we've got FFP hanging over our head, because we've just spent 70 million on DRB, you've got that group. Then you've got the ones that are just like, nah, he ain't coming. Why is he coming to Villa? He's just going to go to someone. And it's just so mental when you scroll through your feed and you just start seeing everybody's like knee-jerk reaction. And then you'll get like a chartered flight from Berlin to Birmingham.
Yeah.
This time, it's so funny. It's so funny. But yeah, how are we feeling about the window?
I mean, that chill category I am. That chill category. The minute I get excited is when I see Percy, Orstein, or Romara. When they're tweeting, that's when my attention spikes and I start to pay interest. So that's where I am on chill. But I agree with you on Twitter. It's funny. There's a Twitter account called Villa Agent, and he's just having a right banter. He's like pretending. I hope he's pretending like, that he's an agent and he's dishing out all this, and people are fuming with him. How has he got 3,000 followers when he's talking rubbish? And he's just playing along with it. But you're right, Luke. Maybe we should categorise fans in different tiers. You know, like journalists get in different tiers, like the gold and the silver and the bronze. maybe the different fans. But it's always been crazy times, hasn't it? Transfer windows and stuff like that. But no, I've been very calm this pre-season. I think it's been a steady pre-season. We sorted the stuff out at the top, got the infrastructure right. Got my man Monchi in. We've got Chris Heck in now. So up top, the management is sorted. Defensively, we've got our top target, Torres, in. We've got Telemans on a free, which is an unreal signing. And now we're going up top now, aren't we, for the big boy signings. And that is starting to get exciting as well. So I think we're doing things really measured, really balanced. And I'm enjoying pre-season. Away from the hits area of it all, I'm sitting in the background, nice and chilled, relaxing, thinking my man Monchi and my man Emery got it all under control, mate. All under control.
And it's kind of like you have to just like hold your nerve a bit, don't you? And just think of the end goal, like September 1st.
Look back at January, Luke.
Yeah. What do we look like on September 1st? If a player rejects us today, you can't really like lose your shit, because we don't know what's going to happen on September 1st. We could have had João Felix rock up, Ferran Torres. So I think you just got to embrace the window, and that's what a transfer window is all about. It's all about rumours. It's all about links. It's all about being linked with someone that's really exciting, getting your hopes up, and then I think it's all about getting let down at the end of it as well. It's all part of that journey, and it's so funny sometimes when I read the comments on here as well. Sometimes when people are like, "You're just like making these rumours," and I'm like, I ain't making them up. Like, I'm just reacting to like a journalist tweeting or saying something. Like, it's not personally me that like makes them up as well. So I find that a little bit mad as well when I get a bit of stick for it, because it's not even me. Like, if you've got grief, have a go at like the journalist.
I'm really chilled. I'm like Ryan and you, really. I'm chilled about it. I think we've got, from the end of the season till September the 1st, we've got plenty of time to do our work. We don't need 10 players, do we? I said it when we did our sort of what do we want for the summer, I said about 6, but that was 6 if 1 or 2 left. At the moment, we haven't seen any of what I mean by 1 or 2 left is one at the main squad players. If you see some of their, like the Dendonkas or the ones that are on the fringes, because I think we'd have to replace like for like with squad numbers on them. But I think 4 top quality players would be perfect if we're not losing anyone. So I think Torres is great in the back. He supplements our back. Tielemans on a free. We do fantastic work now on these free transfers. We pick up top quality free transfers. If we can get Diaby over the line, that's an attacking midfielder, can play anywhere along that area. And then for me, it's a forward. If we can go and get 1 forward at least, and then decide what we're going to do with Duran and Archer. If those 2 stick around, then 1 extra additional top quality forward with Watkins, Archer, Duran, 4 of them with other players that can sort of play in there as well. I think we're almost done. And then if he sees 1 or 2 wanting to disappear off loans and stuff, then I could maybe see another forward coming in to supplement that. But I'm not greedy. 4 or 5, and I think of quality, which is what we see now. If we get, especially if we get Diaby over the line now, if we just sign 1 forward of the quality of a Felix or maybe Lukaku that's been linked with, you've got to be happy with that, haven't you?
I think we're looking at like a deep line forward, aren't we? Like a false number 9, someone that can just play in that hole, contribute goals, and just give us that little bit extra at it in games, that edge, that
he likes
that last
players that
minute
can
winner.
play in multiple places, doesn't he? They can
Yeah.
do jobs in other places as well.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I
We
think
just need that. We
Felix
just need
would-
that touch of quality, don't we, in that final
Yeah.
third? You know, you look back on like the West Ham 1-1s. You know, you just had that extra touch of quality to get you a last minute goal or to get you a goal out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think that is just what we're lacking, and obviously the pace up top as well, which we'd seem to be addressing with.
Well, it's
the
no
Leeds derby.
disrespect to to John Duran, but at the end of last season when we had tight games, that was all we had was a very, very raw, player that hadn't
Yeah.
played in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You had a I know I keep saying his name, but he's the one that's been linked the most, Joao Felix. You had him into the squad with 20 minutes to go, and you're either bringing Watkins or Felix off the bench to supplement your forward line.
Yeah.
That's a game changer, isn't it? These
100%.
are game changing signings, So it's very exciting times to be a Villa fan.
It is. Right, we'll end it there then. It's great to have you all back on the screen. Hannah was going to come on, but her train was late.
Stuck on the train.
So she was going to be on today, but she couldn't make it. So she will be on very, very soon. We'll have the whole band back together. But yeah, cheers everyone for watching. And I'm sure we'll have more episodes out every single day. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.